Hello everybody, I'm Fernanda Ordoñez and she's Mirna Zacarías, and today we're going to interview Cynthia Brenes. Good morning. How are you?
Hi, nice to see you.
And she is an expert on psychology. He is an ombudsperson in Zamorano, and she is a clinical psychology too. And we are doing this interview to our Discovery Project on English cures. And now, as we know, in Zamorano, in a long time, Zamorano didn't have a psychology department, but nowadays we have a group of psychology that it helps us, and I think that it's a good thing. And now we're going to start the interview. And hi Cynthia, how are you?
Fine, thank you. And you?
We're good too.
It's a pleasure for me to be here.
Okay. To start, and we want to ask you, and why did you decide to study clinical psychology?
Okay, I have to say that it wasn't my first idea. In the first time I was to study medicine, I think because the influence of my father, because he was a doctor. So, but I want to have a job and study at the same time, and I can with the medicine career. So I think that another way to help the people was the psychology. So I decided to study psychology for that. I want to help people in a different way. It's not like the doctor, but it's some kind of help.
You help people too.
Yes.
And now, when you was studying psychology, did you like that
Yes.
career?
It was a very, I don't know how to say, but it's a career that you have to learn how to treat the patients, but you have to do your own work too, because it's very contradictory if you are trying to help people and you are bad. So you have to pass through your own experience, like therapy experience, for example, and you have to work a lot in you. So it's a enrichment experience.
You have to be a strong person, because
Yes,
I think that's a difficult thing.
Yes.
And how long did you practice this career? And
18 years ago, a long time ago.
I think that you have seen a lot of things in that time.
Yes, too much.
And now, what do you consider that the main obstacle for a person to approach a psychology, in this case clinic, for help?
Okay, I think that the main obstacle is the idea, the cultural idea that you don't have any help. In our culture, in American culture, for example, in Latin American culture, they sell us the idea that you have to be strong enough to handle your own problems. If you look for any help, you are weak. And it doesn't true. This is the first idea. And the second idea is that maybe, see, if you go to the psychologist, you're a crazy person. Maybe in the first time, the people who go to the psychologist because they don't have any idea for the process, maybe are some kind of people that have some troubles, for example, but it's not in that way. The psychologist is a thing to help the people, even in the routine things that you can handle for your own.
Yes, I know in our culture, even in my country, and my friends like my age think that if you are crazy, you have to go to psychology, but that's not true.
And in Zamorano, many times when some students come to the office, for example, to Selenia office or my office, many times they don't want to another students know that they came to the office.
Now, how do you handle with the first patient experience in appointment?
If I think about my first patient, and in these days is very different, because my first patient I was very nervous, I don't have enough experience, and I know the theoretical things, but I don't have, I think that the practice to handle the things in a way that the patient have be confident with me. In the first time I have too much notes and I see a lot of my books or my own notes. I think that the patient it doesn't feel some comfortable It's different in this time. In this time, I have 18 years of experience, and depend the case, I try to make comfortable the person with me, so it's more easy to open and talk with me.
Yes, I can imagine that the first time that you were with a passion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very different this time.
Now, exercising in Zamorano, do you consider that the system changed people? Why?
Yeah, I don't know if I dare to say that the system changed. There are too many variables, I don't know how to say in English, sorry, or many situations can affect the people. For example, I know that you are away from your family, from your friends. This is one of the aspects that influence, of course. Another aspect is the adaptation process. You have a very different system, educational system, rules, a lot of things that you have to handle at the same time. The social dynamic that is very different. So I know that is very difficult sometimes. You have to be some kind of mature to handle the situation in the best way. Mm-hmm.
I think that we as students in Zamorano, and the system doesn't make us a lot different, but I think that we matured in a short time because
you have to.
Yes.
Yes.
So I agree with all the things that you said, and I am so pleasure that to be here and talking to you, and that's true because I came here with 18 years old, and it's so difficult to get the method enough to confront a situation that maybe are difficult because you are far from your country and your parents and all that stuff.
What country?
Nicaragua.
Nicaragua, and you?
But
Far away.
yes. Now, how do you think the study is affected by the absence of psychologists?
I don't know if it's the absence of the psychologist, but I think that the Zamorano system have a lot of things that make a stressful life for you. So many times you need some people or some person to have confidence and to talk, and you feel that you don't have nothing to lose with the person, and that you have to feel comfortable. You feel some kind free to say anything that you want, and that could be the difference. In some days, maybe the guide residence could be that kind of role, but it's different too because it's some person that see you all the time in your routine life. So I think that it's not too easy for you to tell some kind of things like private things, because you think that she knows me and she look me every day, and maybe she had to report me, or that kind of things is very difficult. I know it's not the absence of psychologists in that way. Maybe the absence of some person that have that kind of role, clinical psychologist or no, but I think that is important. So the time is different too, because I talk with some Zamoranos a long time ago, graduated a long time ago, and they told me that I don't need a psychologist, but the time was different. We don't have a lot of stress that you have in this time. For example, some person told me, in that time, if I don't want to do something for my colony, I just even put away in some, I don't know, maybe in another room, maybe atrás, behind the tree, and they don't even know where I am. But in this time, if you don't want to do something, for example, they text you, they have a WhatsApp, they wrote to your marido or your wife, and where is Cynthia? Where is Cynthia? Tell that she have to do tal cosa. So it is different. The stressful is very different. You have a lot of technology, you have a lot of stressful things that they don't even have in that time.
That's true, and that's why maybe some people gets like they consider that Zamorano is so harder because they don't have that, like someone that they can go and hear like you and the department do.
And another thing is that, and actually we are not with our parents, and we need to talk with someone who can give to us a good ideas to do with our things.
Of course.
And as you say, years ago they didn't. It's like a department of psychologists. So, how will you consider student life in Zamorano if you don't, if you did not have a staff like you?
I think that it could be worse in the sense that it's more difficult to you to handle some kind of situations that you don't have enough resources to handle. For example, you could have some kind of problems that you don't know how to handle, and if you have this kind of help, you could go to the psychologist and make another view of the problem for daily things. It not could, for example, a big depression or something like that. It could be something that I can put attention in the class, or maybe I have a problem with my wife or I don't know. I think that there are little things that if you stay with the wrong feeling about that, could be a bigger problem.
Now you mentioned the view of the problem. In how difficult it is to take a position in front of a student when he or she thinks that they have the reason.
That's the point of the psychologist. You don't have to take a position in front of the patient, because you are like a guide. When you have a psychologist, the thing is the psychologist have to reflect the position and put, for example, all the possibilities in front of you. You feel in that way, try to make you awareness about your problem, to be conscious about what is the cause of the problem, etc. So you don't have to take a position. You have to reflect to the patients the problem and make conscious about that and take actions about the problem. So that's why the psychologists never judge the patients. For example, I have a one case that impacted a lot of in my life. When I was very young, when I maybe 17 years ago, I have a patient that have an abortion in the process with me. I don't believe in the abortion like a exit for a problem, for example. But in that moment, she has an abortion in the process with me, and I was very affected because I can't talk her in the way. Sorry, I forgot to put in silence my telephone. Sorry. In that way, I can't talk to her, for example, about religion, about values, about my point of view like a person. I just only watch her and I reflect the problem and respect her process. But it was very difficult for me in that moment. And I was very young and I don't have a lot of experience. But it marked me a lot because, like psychology, you never take a position and never judge to the patient.
So you can say or consider that the principal role of a psychologist is like to influence so much in case like that.
No, never influence. Just reflect the process, reflect your feelings, and you have to resolve for your own what happens with you and take actions. Maybe find another exit.
To go to the final with this interview, what do you think Zamorano is needing in the story life aspect?
What needed? It's very difficult to say that. I have to pass some kind of research instrument. No, I think that more variety in things that you have to, you could take your time, your free time. I know that you have some kind of clubs, art and suelos and basketball or something like that, but maybe have more variety in like kind of stuff, and in the end of the week on Saturday and Sunday more give more options to the students and give some activities to give away the stress from the learning.
We are so thankful with you and my classmate and for the time you got to us, and we are very interested in this topic because it's a part of our DiscoveryProject, and also we are part of Zamorano, and we are glad to know that we have this kind of help, and you with our service.
Okay,
Thank you so
no,
much.
yeah, I'm so sorry for the phone. I forgot to put in silence. Sorry.
Don't worry about it.
We have learned a lot of today.
Okay,
Thank
well, my
you.
pleasure.
Thank you.